Hey, what's up guys? Min City here back again with another video, and today I'm bringing you my review of One Deck Dungeon. Now, if this helps you at all, please leave a like and pop a sub if you're new or you enjoy mobile gaming content, because that's all I make on this YouTube channel. I really appreciate it. Small channels like mine thrive off of stuff like that, so I appreciate it. Also, leave your comments and your thoughts in the comment section down below. I always reply to every single one of you, and I'm really interested in your guys' thoughts. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, what is One Deck Dungeon? This is actually a mobile iteration of the board game. I didn't know this was a board game when I first played it, but I was kind of looking at people's thoughts and stuff. And man, this board game seemed pretty fun. Now, I'm going to be delving into the graphics, the sound design, the gameplay, explaining the gameplay to you, and then giving you my opinion on whether I think it's worth the price tag or not, or whether you'd be interested in it, or what your interests would be. Now, this genre is basically, I would say it's like Dungeons and Dragons mixed with a roguelike mixed with a card game. Now, I'll get into that when it comes to the gameplay. Now, the sound design and the looks of the game. The looks of the game has really classic like fantasy art. I think it fits the theme very well. I think it gets the job done. And the UI is a little bit rough around the edges and pretty simple. It's not anything flashy, but it's not confusing either. And I think that's what they were trying to aim for, is to have a very simple UI design so that you can learn to play this board game, or this game pretty quickly and have a smooth experience. The sound design I actually ended up liking way more than I thought I would. It isn't anything that will blow your mind, but it reminds me of like old school RuneScape music, just like really old school fantasy themed video game music. I don't know how to describe it, but it's really nostalgic for me. Remember, music and sound design and graphics are very subjective, I think, in my opinion, but this is just me. But I think they pass with flying colors. I think they're really decent, really nostalgic. You might be surprised, especially if you have like a history with RuneScape and Dungeons and Dragons like I do. Now, how does the gameplay match up? So, like I said, it's like a Dungeons and Dragons roguelike board game / card game. So you start out by picking a class, and all these classes are the classes you've already seen. There's like mage, there's a warrior, there's a paladin, a mist, which is kind of like a mixture. And depending on what your class, they will have different attributes. Now, your attributes are represented by different colored die, and these different colored die can range from like strength to agility and stuff like that. And the more attribute points you have, the more dice you have allocated to you to be able to roll in certain scenarios. Now, as you're moving through these dungeons and exploring rooms, you have a time counter. And when all that time reaches 0, then you move on to a tougher dungeon. So you kind of want to use that time wisely so that you can really loot efficiently and get your character leveled up or kitted up for that difficulty spike. Now, so you're constantly managing that time that I've told you. Then you also have health, and when your health reaches 0, obviously, your character dies. Now, you can receive potions as loot and stuff like that, and you can use that. It will automatically be used to make it so that your hero doesn't die. Now, whenever you encounter enemies while you're exploring dungeons, and exploring dungeons costs time, as well as battling enemies and encountering scenarios, everything costs time. It's just a varying amount of time, so keep that in mind. Now, whenever you do encounter an enemy, they will have a set of cards or requirements for you to roll with your die. Now, there are certain cards on certain enemies that have a green shield on them, and those requirements must be met first before you can start placing other die. Now, for instance, with like a skeleton, they'll have 2 cards with a green shield icon. So they have 2 blue shield icons, and one of them's a 2 and one of them's a 3. If I roll some of my blue die and I get a 2 and a 3, I can match them with that, and then that allows me to match the rest of my die with the rest of the requirements will be like a pink 3 or a pink 4. So and then also with my die, the black colored die are basically wilds. You can match those with whatever requirement you need of any color, as long as it has the right number. Hopefully I'm making sense, and you'll see it in the gameplay before you. Now, say you don't even have the color of die that you need. You can exchange those you can exchange 2 of any die to get one of a black die, but it will be a lower number. So you have to kind of strategize. It's kind of like a little mini puzzle, and a mini puzzle scenario where you need to figure out which die you need to use for what, and what combinations you need to exchange, stuff like that. It's really interesting, really fun in my opinion, and I think this would make a great physical board game. No wonder it's based off of a board game. And so I have a ton of fun with this. Now there's also scenarios, like I mentioned a little bit before, that you will encounter that will, like, say you come across a trap. You can run through that trap, which will cost you less time, but it'll be harder to avoid getting hurt in that scenario. Or there'll be an easier route, like disarming the trap, but that will take more time. So there's kind of like give and take scenarios that you'll have to choose. Now at the end of these scenarios, as well as when you are battling enemies, you will be given the choice to loot certain specific things. You can loot like a potion, or it'll give you like a certain die or a certain item to use along your journey. So you're constantly being given these decisions and having to figure out these puzzle scenarios, and it's just a really satisfying loop. And of course it's a roguelike, so when you die and you push as far in the dungeon as you can, when you die, you start all over again with a new character. Now there are different characters to try out, like I said, to figure out your playstyle. There's a quick play mode that's basically just chooses a character for you and throws you right into a dungeon. There's different difficulty levels. There's another version that obviously you just go through the whole picking scenario. You pick the dungeon, pick the difficulty, pick your character. There's just a little bit of something for whatever you need. If you just want to play quickly, you can. If you want to really customize your experience, you can do that as well, which is really nice. It provides a lot of options, a lot of settings, a lot of replayability. Now there is DLC in this game. This is a premium game. It has a price tag, but it also has DLC in there. And there's DLC to provide more classes for you to use. And that's, as far as I can see, that's all that's on hand here. But they give you a huge variety of classes right up front. So if you end up really, I suggest you, if you're interested in this game, you buy the game and you play through it, and you determine if you really love it or not. I think the people who really love this game are going to buy that DLC. But just know that there's a lot of content on offer for the price tag. Now I bought this for 99 cents as of September 9th, 2020. So I think at 99 cents, this is a no-brainer. This is an absolute steal. I think normally it's $6.99. And even at $6.99, I think if you're a board game lover, if you like card games, if you like roguelikes, this is also a no-brainer. I'm very impressed. I held off on purchasing this for a while, and I wish I hadn't. It's a very, very good game. If you like board games, this is a must-have on your mobile game device. If you love Dungeons and Dragons, this is a must-have on your mobile device. If you like roguelike card games, this is a must-have on your mobile device. If you like rolling dice and puzzles, this is a must-have on your mobile device. You will not be disappointed. But anyways, those are my thoughts. Those are my feelings. Please let me know your opinions in the comment section down below. If you guys know of any other games in this genre, so to speak, let me know your favorites in that. I'd love to hear them. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped you guys out, and take it easy.